Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're jumping straight into something pretty critical happening in DeFi, decentralized finance. It's about a recent security event with Lido DAO, the group governing the Lido liquid staking protocol. Big player.
Absolutely. And it's significant because Lido DAO actually had to kick off an emergency vote. When you hear emergency vote from a DAO managing that kind of value, well, it definitely gets your attention, signals something serious is up.
Right. And the reason for this emergency vote, it looks like an oracle, one operated by Chorus One, was compromised. Now, oracles are, well, they're fundamental in blockchain, but maybe we should quickly unpack what they do, just to make sure we're all on the same page.
Yeah, good idea. Think of an oracle as like a secure bridge. It takes real-world data, say the price of ETH, and feeds it onto the blockchain. Smart contracts then use that data. So if the oracle gets messed with, the data's wrong, and, things can go sideways fast for protocols relying on it.
Okay, so it's about trusting that incoming data. And in this case, an address linked to the Chorus One oracle was, well, breached.
That's right. And the ETH, tied to that specific oracle address, it was drained, gone.
Oof. That definitely sounds like a red flag, a big one.
It does, yeah.
Yeah.
But Lido Finance has been pretty quick to say, look, this seems contained. They believe it's limited just to this one Chorus One oracle, not some, deep flaw in the whole Lido system itself.
Okay, that's something at least. Systemic risk is always the big worry.
Exactly. And they've also said the issue wasn't like abandoning the oracle software code.
So if it's not the code and not the whole system,
Yeah.
What's the likely culprit then? What's Chorus One saying?
The main theory, the one Chorus One seems to be leaning towards, is a leak of a hot wallet private key. Hot wallet is like your online checking account, easy access, but more exposed. A cold wallet is more like your vault.
Ah, okay. So if that private key leaks.
Just like someone got the master key, they can just walk in and take the funds associated with it.
Right. And Chorus One is planning to fix this how?
They've said they're setting up a new machine, a more secure setup, basically, to try and prevent this specific thing from happening again.
Okay, so a targeted hit on one part of the infrastructure. It feels like this leads us naturally into the bigger picture, doesn't it? How does this Lido incident, even if it's contained, fit into the broader story of, well, cybersecurity and DeFi and crypto generally?
Yeah, it's a really important connection to make because even an isolated incident like this, it highlights a fundamental challenge. As we move more money, more trading, more business logic onto these blockchain systems, the attack surface just gets bigger and bigger.
More places for things to potentially go wrong.
Exactly. These are complex systems, and keeping them secure is, well, it's a constant battle. It's not a one-and-done thing.
And we're seeing the financial cost of not winning that battle, right? There's data on this.
Oh, absolutely. The cybersecurity firm Hacken, they put out numbers for Q1 2025, and they reported, get this, over $2 billion lost just in those first 3 months. Hacks, scams, exploits, the whole lot.
Wow. $2 billion in just one quarter. That's staggering.
It is. Now, we should add a bit of context there. A huge chunk of that, like $1.4 billion, was from that massive Bybit hack back in February.
Ah, okay. So one giant event really inflated that number.
It definitely did. But even if you mentally adjust for that, the underlying trend of significant losses is, well, it's still clearly there.
Okay, so that was Q1. What about more recently? Any fresher numbers?
Yeah, Hacken also tracked April 2025. For that month, losses just from crypto hacks were around $357 million.
$357 million in 1 month.
Right. And what's worrying is that was actually a big jump from March. So it suggests things might be escalating again.
Not a good trend. So these massive losses happening kind of put the Lido incident into perspective. Even smaller breaches add up to this huge problem.
Precisely. And it's not always about finding a clever bug in the smart contract code itself, is it?
Seems like attackers are hitting different weak points.
Exactly. Dan Budorin, Hacken CEO, was talking about this at Token 2049. He basically said the industry needs to step up its game. More rigorous security measures, much more thorough code audits. Trying to find these problems before the hackers do.
Yeah, proactive defense. But it gets even more complicated when we start talking about state-sponsored actors, right?
Yeah, that adds a whole other layer. There's growing concern, especially about hacking groups linked to North Korea, the DPRK. They're suspected of being behind some of the really, really big crypto heists over the years.
And that changes the game, doesn't it? It's not just about cyber criminals looking for cash anymore.
Right. When you potentially have nation states involved, it moves into the realm of, well, geopolitics. It suggests crypto isn't just a niche tech thing anymore. It's significant enough to be a target for strategic reasons by global players. That's a major shift.
To the point where major world powers might start discussing it?
There's talk, yeah, that the G7 countries, the big economies, might actually discuss the impact of these DPRK hackers and maybe what countermeasures they could take at their next summit.
Wow. So crypto security could be on the G7 agenda. That really shows how interconnected this has become.
It really does. From internet curiosity to potentially international diplomatic discussions because of security risks, quite the evolution.
And it's not just these huge nine-figure hacks or state actors. We also see smaller but still damaging incidents happening all the time.
Oh, for sure. There was that Cointelegraph magazine piece mentioning other things like a data breach at Evolve Bank, which touches the crypto world. Or even individuals, like that story about a Turbo Toad NFT enthusiast losing a bunch of money. It shows the vulnerability exists at different scales.
Right. Big exchange hacks, protocol exploits like Lido's Oracle, data breaches, individual scams. It's a broad challenge.
Definitely. It all paints a picture of a landscape where security needs constant vigilance everywhere.
Okay, so let's try and pull this together. We've looked at the Lido DAO situation, the likely cause, and this much wider context. What are the key takeaways here? What should you, listening right now, really be thinking about?
Well, first, I think it just hammers home how crucial robust cybersecurity is everywhere in DeFi. Even big established protocols like Lido run by these DAOs, they're not immune. They can still be hit, especially on specific components like oracles.
So no protocol is too big to fail, security-wise.
Pretty much. Second, the attackers are getting smarter, more sophisticated. As DeFi grows, the methods evolve. We're seeing more complex attacks targeting infrastructure, not just simple scams.
And the sheer amount of money involved, it's hard to ignore.
Absolutely. Those Hacken numbers, billions lost, they underline the financial scale of this problem. It's massive.
And finally, that geopolitical angle.
Right. The potential involvement of state-sponsored groups like those linked to the DPRK adds this whole other dimension. It's not just about lost crypto. It could have broader international consequences.
Okay, so to recap, we had the Lido DAO emergency focused on that Chorus 1 Oracle compromise, likely a private key leak for a hot wallet. And we've placed that within this bigger picture of, frankly, escalating cybersecurity threats across crypto, huge financial losses, increasing attack sophistication, and even potential nation-state involvement.
Yeah, that sums it up pretty well. And it leads us to maybe a final thought for you to ponder. Considering how much value is flowing into blockchain tech and how integrated it's becoming, what more do we need? What kind of extra safeguards, maybe new tech, maybe better international cooperation, are going to be essential to actually secure this evolving digital world? Makes you think, doesn't it?